Hey guys, as some of you might know, we try to take a trip every month and document it, and this month we went to Paris, France.
Yep, and we normally travel with a 2-year-old, but we decided to make this one just an adult's trip, so we had to make it quick. So we were only in Paris for 48 hours, and since we've been to Paris quite a few times, we decided to share our tips with you on how to make the most of Paris if you only have 2 days.
That's right, so here it is.
Jeez, these stairs are tricky.
Hi!
What's your idea?
Look at where you're walking.
Café Le Bonaparte in Saint-Germain is one of our favorite spots to eat and a great place to get a late lunch after you land. Gil's favorite is the beef tartare, and even though I normally do not enjoy that dish at all elsewhere, even I have to admit it's pretty great at Le Bonaparte. My choice is usually the croque madame. Went to eat at Le Bonaparte for steak tartare, which is amazing. And then leaving, we had to get our first croissant of the day, because that's really what it's all about in Paris, is the croissant. So now we're walking around, we're at Saint-Michel, the fountain. We're gonna go to Shakespeare and Company in a cute little street, and then over to Notre Dame. The Rick Steves Audio Europe app is free and it's such a great resource. We love the walking tour of historic Paris. It gives you a great feel of the city and helps you get your bearings, so it's great to do early in the trip. It takes you through some amazing old streets, and Gil usually needs to stop for a crepe or pastry along the way at least once. Is it as good as you remember?
Oh yeah.
All right, Pete. What do you think?
That was
That's a good
Nutella
stuff.
even better out here.
The tour will also take you by Shakespeare and Company, which is a really cute little bookstore that's fun to walk through. And on one of the streets, it takes you by the narrowest apartment in Paris, which is only 2 windows wide. The tour also takes you by Notre Dame, which is a must-see even though it's crowded. Just knowing that centuries of people have worshipped here takes my breath away every time I walk in. So this is point 0. It's the center of Paris and the center of France, so everything is measured in distances from here. Now it's happy hour time. We stumbled upon La Table des Arts and had a really great time there. This is in Saint-Germain, and the drink specials were fantastic, and even though we didn't eat there, the food smelled really great. Back to the apartment to freshen up, and then we had an incredible meal at Le Comptoir de Gastronomie. We shared a bottle of the Beaujolais Brouilly and had the duck breast. We really recommend it. It's affordable and really delicious. Le Duc de Lombard is a jazz club, and around 11:30 on Saturday nights, the house band puts on a free show. It's such a fun, free, late-night way to experience Paris nightlife. Hello!
What are we doing today?
Oh, hey!
We're going to Montmartre to an outdoor shopping pedestrian street.
Yeah.
But it opens to cars again at 1, so I'm not sure.
Got a boogie.
We got a boogie. We gotta go.
But first, on a short trip, I think it's best to not really switch time zones. So we stay out late and sleep in to make it easier on our bodies and easier to switch back when we get home. So we got a late start on day 2 and didn't head out to Montmartre until around noon. It's really fun to stroll along the booths in the square near Sacré-Cœur in Montmartre. And I know that I'm butchering pronunciations, my apologies to French speakers.
But you can watch the artist painting, and if something catches your eye, buying a piece of art from a city is one of our favorite ways to remember trips. It's usually the only thing we buy that could be considered a souvenir. There are lots of little places to grab a little stack while strolling through Montmartre. Just don't eat in the square. You'll pay way too much for below average food.
What do you think?
Like everything I've wanted for the last year.
This restaurant, like Consulate, I don't know how you say it, Consulate, near Montmartre is where Picasso, Van Gogh, and Monet would all hang out. They'd meet for drinks and stuff here. It's a really cool little spot.
This is such a great neighborhood to just start walking down winding streets and seeing what you stumble upon. There are so many little shops to check out, restaurants to see. It's just a really great way to spend your afternoon. Take the short walk from the square to Sacré-Cœur. It's free to walk into, and if you're there in the off-season, there usually isn't much of a wait. If you go in the summer, you might be in line for a while, but it's worth it. Once you're inside, stop and enjoy the church for a minute. You'll need to rest your legs for the next adventure.
So we're going up the dome at Sacré-Cœur, which is going to be awesome, but don't do it unless you're ready to climb a whole lot of stairs.
The lines were short, so we opted to do the stairs to the dome. It's an amazing view and so much faster and cheaper than the Eiffel Tower.
Alright, so we are up at the top of the dome, Sacré-Cœur. There's a lot of steps, I'm a lot of breath, but this view is crazy. It was worth it. You can see the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, up there, Notre Dame is over there. Really pretty. I actually think this is a better view than the Eiffel Tower. Tip for people who don't live in cities where there's public transit. Even though you can't speak the language, you can always see which direction the train is going by looking at the last stop in each direction. So this one, the last stop going that way is, however you say that, Aubervilliers. And this way is Marie DC. And so we know our stop isn't listed here, so we need to go the other way.
In Paris and a lot of other cities, the metro doors don't open automatically. So once the train stops, just reach out and open the door to board and do the same to get off. I've seen people miss trains because they didn't know that they needed to open the door themselves.
So if you want a good view of the Eiffel Tower that's a little less crowded, if you come across the river to the Jardins de Trocadero, you get really good views through the trees and less people, so it's good. So if you only do one thing in Paris, like if you only have 4 hours here, this is what you do. You go to a fromagerie, a charcuterie, and a wine shop. And you can find all of them on Rue Claire if it's not Sunday night, because they're closed on Sunday night. You take it all to the Eiffel Tower at sunset, and you sit and have a picnic and wait for the lights to come on. If it's the only thing you do, it's what you do.
So that's it for this trip. Hopefully you were able to pick up some tips for your next trip to Paris, even if it's short like ours was. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to see future travel tip videos.